all about the must-haves that you need to have on your home improvement website in order to generate leads. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about what this lesson is not. It is not about this guy using, superior sounding design language to talk to you about what your website should look like. Your website can look like a lot of different things. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Lots of our clients' websites look pretty different from each other, but our goal is on lead generation. So this lesson is about things that need to be on your site if you want to generate leads. So what are those things? Your website needs to load fast. It needs to be mobile friendly, and you need to be easy to get in touch with. Once you've accomplished those three things, then you can move on to the next steps. Those are: make your services really easy to understand, show your work, show where you work, and build trust and credibility. Do not pass go until you get these first three things right. So what is the first one? Let's review them. Let's take them one at a time. Your website must load fast. I could throw a whole bunch of different stats at you, and there's tons of them online if you want to search for them. But just know, if your website takes more than a few seconds to load, you are going to lose people. So that's on the people side. On the technical side, Google is always indexing all of the websites that are online. If Google's index robots determine that your website loads really slowly, then they are going to demote your website in rankings. It just won't show up. Here's a slide with a bunch of stats from e-commerce websites. So these are some of the biggies. There's Amazon, Walmart, and then Mozilla is actually the company behind the Firefox browser. The point of this slide, yes, this is e-commerce, and your website is not really an e-commerce website, is to show that really small fractional increments of time can make a big difference in conversion rates and revenue for these really big companies. That's why they spend so much time and energy to make sure that their websites load fast. Okay, so that was step one, load fast. What is step two? Your website must be mobile friendly. 60% of all searches were done from mobile phones. That stat is true as of January 2023. And again, so we're looking at it from the user's perspective and from Google's perspective. If your website is not mobile friendly, Google has bots and algorithms that are always crawling the web, and they're giving scores to people's websites to say whether or not it's a good mobile experience. Google downgrades your mobile experience score. Again, that is going to hurt your SEO. It'll just limit your ability to show up in searches. So you have to be mobile friendly. Okay, that was number two. So what is number three? You must be easy to contact. So what does that mean? Forms. We once worked with a bathroom contractor that had been working with a previous agency. They were running PPC ads. They were running SEO campaigns. They had email marketing going out. When we looked at their website and we took over, there weren't any contact forms anywhere on the site. There was a phone number, but there weren't forms. So within the first week, what we did was we installed forms on every single page of the site. Right out of the gate, that more than doubled their online leads that they were getting from their website. So make sure you've got lots of forms and you're really easy to get in touch with. The other reason we think that forms and being easy to contact is so important is you need to think about who's coming to your website. Your website could be a resource for somebody who heard about you through word of mouth. They may just want to get sort of a sense of who you are, but they really just need to get down to business and request a quote. So make it easy to do that. Next, make sure your phone numbers on your website, especially the ones in the header and the footer, are click to call. If you'll remember a few slides back where we said being mobile friendly was super important, more than 60% of the people looking at your website are going to be doing it from their phone. Make it easy for them to just give you a call. All right, now we've gotten through those first top 3, absolutely do not pass go checklist items. Now let's get into the rest of them. So number 4, make your website easy to understand. Don't make people work really hard to figure out what you do. In the screenshot below, you see the navigation of one of our clients. Right there in the top level nav, I can glance at that nav and I can see this company offers siding, roofing, replacement windows, and gutters. If I'm interested in siding, by hovering over that siding navigation item, I can quickly see that this company does James Hardie and vinyl siding, and they do commercial siding installation. So there's just a lot of information that's provided right there in the navigation without anybody having to work really hard. All right, that was number 4. Let's move on to number 5. Show your work. We know that if you are installing products like Marvin windows, Pella windows, James Hardie, jacuzzi bath products, things like that, there are some really amazing professional manufacturer products. You should absolutely use some of those. But if those are the only products on your website, then there's not a sense of authenticity that you're doing real work in your prospects, neighborhoods, and towns. So even if your pictures are not the most professionally done, real authentic pictures of real work go so far to showing that you are a legitimate business. You're doing, real work in people's neighborhoods. So how can you do that? You can have a section on your website called featured projects. You could call it our work, or you could call it a gallery. Include that in your main navigation menu. Link to it from your home page. Highlight it on different service pages. Let's look at a few examples. Here is a photo gallery from one of our exterior contractors. And this is doing a couple of things. There's actually a little bit of a mix here between some, professionally taken manufacturer photos and real photos from, their service area. The other thing that's going on here is the way that we've designed this photo gallery is we've also reiterated their services: roofing, siding, windows, doors, masonry, and gutters. This particular photo gallery, users can filter on different pictures when they click on the different icons. So that's just one example of showing real pictures of your real work. Another thing that we've found to be a super popular feature on websites are these before and after sliders. Either on a phone or on a desktop, users can use the slider widget to go back and forth between the before and after picture. These are a great way to show that you are actually installing this stuff. You're not just showing manufacturers' photos. And it doesn't matter if some of them are a little bit dark or taken from a funny angle. I think it shows authenticity. This is another example. Here you've got a before and after slider, but we've also kind of built this out into, very short sort of case study. So, we've got the title of the page, stucco to vinyl plus new doors and windows in Pottstown, PA. So from an SEO perspective, we're hitting on keywords like stucco, vinyl, doors, windows, and the town name. Then we've got a before and after slider, we've got a photo gallery, and we've got a few, bullet points about the project, which again, just helps build trust and, make your site look more authentic. Okay, that was step 5. What is step 6? Show where you work. You can mention locations like we saw in the previous slide with the Pottstown, PA stucco job. Mention your town names and your service areas in the titles of individual pages on your website, on your home page, in your footer. Include information about your service areas in your About Us page. Show it on a map. Include it in your global footer or global header. So let's look at some examples. Here are some, snippets of screenshots that we've taken showing you how, we've incorporated the name of the service area into, one part of one page to emphasize, this top screenshot we're showing, they're serving southeastern Wisconsin. We've got another client in Michigan, and we want to really highlight, Michigan in some of the content and emphasize to visitors that that's where they're doing work. The third one that you see there is upstate. Upstate is sort of a shorthand for a section of South Carolina, but that would resonate with a resident of South Carolina. They know what upstate means. You can also just do something really simple, like color code a section of a map and then include that, in multiple places throughout your website. Here's another example of some pinpoints on a map. And then, lastly, we've seen some of our clients want to do something like, show the outlines of states. And then when you click on an individual state, you get a list of all of the towns that they serve in that state. So there's a lot of different ways to show where you work. The point is, make an effort to show where you work. Otherwise, you look like a national company or maybe even a lead aggregator website that feels kind of nameless and faceless. Okay, now we're on to the last step, step number 7, build trust. Well, right out of the gate, steps 1 through 6 that we've covered in this video, we believe all go towards helping to build that trust. If you can show where you're working, show authentic, real-looking photos, give a little bit of information about who you are, where you are, all of that kind of works together to build trust. Include information about your company history. Again, you don't want to be a nameless, faceless company. Tell your story. Tell how long you've been in business. If you are, if you're on BBB or you have an A+ rating, show it off. Do you have guild quality ratings? Show them off. Have you got any reviews or awards or certifications or industry badges? Show it off. What are your warranties and your processes? Let people know what's going to happen when they work with you, how the process is going to unfold, how the project's going to work, and how you stand by your warranties. And then again, we're hitting on these featured projects because we think that's part of building credibility. Homeowners have a lot of mistrust. Is this a fly-by-night company? Are they going to be around for a while? If you can show at a glance, dozens or hundreds of projects, that just sort of gives people the impression, oh, this company's been around for a while. They're not going to disappear after I give them a check. And then meet the team. Again, we're emphasizing real pictures of real people. Don't fuss with, lighting or anything like that. The more authentic, the better, in our opinion. So here's a screenshot of reviews, which is also part of building trust. You can install plugins that will automatically pull reviews from Google, from Facebook, from some other platforms, and you can showcase them on your website. You can also showcase your industry affiliations or awards, or if you're a veteran-owned business, or if you've achieved some sort of status with your manufacturer, like James Hardie Elite Preferred. This can be done in a number of ways. Often we see it in sort of like this badge row. That's what we call it. Here's another example of a row of credibility building badges. And then here's a slightly different spin on it. This is a row that's repeated on multiple pages on the website, just sort of bragging on what's going on with their guild quality, excellence, and service badge. So there's a lot of different ways to showcase it, but building trust is critical. What's another way you can build trust? If your customers will agree to it, we've had lots of clients that will create some sort of sign, and then when the project manager is doing the final walkthrough, take a snapshot of that homeowner. Here this homeowner is shown in front of their new shower enclosure with, a sign that says 100% satisfied. That, again, goes to build credibility and trust. You can also showcase your ratings from different rating sites in one of these rows that we're calling like a credibility row or a badge row. Okay, so let's recap and review. We're saying if your website doesn't load fast and is not mobile friendly and you're not easy to contact, You've got to solve those three things first. Then you can move on to, make it really easy to understand what you do, show your work, show where you work, and then build trust and credibility.